There is no denying it. We want to level up our social skills, but how do we do that? How do we do that? How do we do that? Well, I'm going to be teaching you stuff straight from the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I highly recommend you get because it will teach you everything that you need to know about social skills. You read it again, take notes, and practice. And that's how you're going to socialize better. But this will just be an introduction. This is going to be an introduction to the first three principles of the book, and hopefully you enjoy. So let's go ahead and kick it in. I'm just going to show you on the whiteboard. How it's done. So first, we're going to talk about the first principle. Don't criticize. It's technically called don't kick over the beehive or something. If you want honey, don't kick over the beehive, which I can interpret it nicely. You might not, but you know. It's all good. All right. Don't criticize. So what do I mean by this? Well, it's not obvious. Don't criticize. I know probably some people are just clicking off the video, but that doesn't really matter because don't criticize makes sense. What do I mean by the principle don't criticize? How will this level up my social skills? I don't know. Well, first you have to understand that people are really living in their own bubble where they don't really see their own issues. They overly criticize against themselves all the time. They're hypercritical of themselves, but when someone's attacking them, their egos start firing back, and their egos start to blind them from the issues they're making. And this is a mistake that I've been doing in my life, where my friends would call me out if I was doing something wrong, and my pride would simply say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm simply not doing that. How could that be? How could you talk when you're doing the same thing? You can see what's going on. It ruins friendships. It ruins a lot of things, really. So it's horrible. This is just an ego thing, and ego is just the enemy. There's another book for that, which is brilliant. Read it as well. But don't criticize. So how do we get people to stop doing wrong if we don't criticize them? Oh, I know. Constructive criticism. To be honest, I don't have much faith in humanity's ability to take, let alone give, proper constructive criticism without hurting each other. It's a skill nobody can do. It's not just something that you do. You can't just, for example, say, oh, fix yourself up. That's criticism right there. That's not even constructive criticism. Constructive criticism is false. It doesn't help. Just construct a criticism without the criticism. Construct. The whole idea is when you criticize, you're putting that person down. We're trying to lift him up. So how do we lift him up? We put our arms around our shoulder and say, can you see what you did wrong here? See, if you say in a gentle way, you're not attacking their ego. You're solving the problem with them. And that's key. Because people, when they're getting criticized, they'll start to feel alone. This is all subconscious, and we're unconscious when we do it. This idea of with. But if someone puts your arms around you when you've done a mistake and says, look, we'll do this, we'll figure this out, and you can do this and do this, and I hope that you'll learn from what you did. My ego has not been attacked whatsoever. And in fact, I've actually learned more. I've learned more from doing that. That's what the book teaches you. The book teaches you also is that they found that animals, when they're rewarded for good behavior, do those good habits more often, rather than punishing them for doing something bad. So the common thing with parents is they send their kids to their room because, well, they don't make the effort to figure out how to get the kid to figure it out by himself. They're letting the kid figure out to do it. Guess again. Word alone. Kid is left alone to figure it out. But he just made the mistake. Socializing, which is what this video is about with. It's about this word with. We don't want them to be alone. We want to let them know that we are there for them. And that's the best way. One of the best ways is to just don't criticize. Just take away, you did this, you do that from your vocabulary. Just have the patience, and most importantly, the effort to give a damn and help solve their issue with them. And trust me, by doing that, you're serving a value to people. You're giving value. No one's ever going to go to your table. If you don't put something on the table, no one's going to be interested. And that's another principle that I could make a video about, values. And how what you give to them, because it's not really the first three, but a lot of stuff does interlap. So this is the first, don't criticize. This is just like a preview of it. We're now going to move on to the second principle. And let's go ahead and call that, what was it again? Appreciation. It's mad how we don't do this. Appreciation. It's a good word. We all know what this word means. We're taught it at a young age. Yet we don't use it in our lives. Everyone has the desire to be important. We all want to matter. The question, do you matter? It's so important. I'm going to write it down here. Do you matter? It is a question that has lingered in our subconscious minds for so long. It's in the book Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. It's everywhere. Do you matter? Do you matter? Do you matter? Don't know how you answered that, of course, but this links with appreciation, because when you say, I appreciate you for doing this, you are subconsciously telling the person that, yes, you do in fact matter, because you are important to me. Therefore, you are important in general. I appreciate your this. I appreciate you helping me. I appreciate. Bloody preach this every night. Every night. You have to start telling people this. It will be hard. I find it hard as well. For some reason, we're not used to saying, I appreciate you. It's because there's so many, because we already know how effective that is. But there's so much feelings around there. There's so much feelings there as guys, maybe even females. This, essentially, we avoid from too many feelings. That's all I'm going to say. So we need to start building the habit of saying, I appreciate you for this. And this isn't some flattery, because people have the idea that flattery and appreciation go hand in hand. But let me show you why this is definitely not the case. So let's go ahead, and we're going to do a table here. I have one in my notes. Let me just do app for short, or just appreciation. I'm going to just write it down with this wonderful handwriting. Ooh. Appreciation. Desired. Flattery. Presented. You may think, oh, flattery is good. They're telling me that I'm all this and I'm this. It's manipulation. If they're not genuine, which is the next word for this, if they're not genuine, then it's manipulation. What it was. This is also for those philosophers out there. From the heart. From the teeth. Bloody hell. That's teeth. And then last one, flattery is cheap and inhumane. Appreciation is lavish, expensive, but most importantly, humane. So we need to start being genuine. We have to be genuine about saying, I admire. So I admire the way you support people, the way you feel sorry for people. Can you help me out with writing an apology letter? When you ask that of someone, it's genuine. You do desire their supportingness, I suppose. It's lavish, and it will work amazingly. People will be drawn to you because you're their sense of importance. Sense of importance, sense of importance, sense of importance. And that's big when we're talking about the second principle. So we're going to move on. Last but not least, 100% not least, eager wants. Picture this, all right? Picture this. A kid does not want to go to school. He simply doesn't. Maybe he's too nervous. Maybe he's scared. Maybe he's just angry. His parents want him to go to school. I want you to do this. Right? I want you to go to school. You must go to school. But I don't want to go to school. You see the reoccurring word, the personal pronoun I. A telephone company ran an experiment. They found that the most used word was the personal pronoun I. We're so absorbed into this idea of what's in it for me. What about me? What will happen to me? Is this me? Take, for example, a picture of your friends. A group of you are in the picture. The first face you look for is, what do you know it? Your picture. Hey, that's me. How's my face? Oh God, my own color is done. And this goes for everybody. All your other friends, the first face they want to look for are themselves. So how does this link with this analogy over here? So we have two opposing parties. We have the kid. I want to do this. Then you have the parents. I want to do this. This naturally creates a conflict. And we both know that what's good for the kid is for him to go to school. So there is a definite. So how do the parents get the kid to go to school? Well, on average, what families would do, which is completely incorrect, which is probably going to have the reverse effect where you're going to encourage resentment and is going to affect the kid's desire to be important, which is massive, which links to the second principle. Go to your room and just make up your mind to go to school. Kid goes up, that doesn't do anything, right? You're just encouraging him to be alone. And the whole point of socializing, the whole point of this video is to help people solve their issues with them. So what do you think these parents do instead? Well, they start doing the things that the kid likes, like face painting or drawing. Let's just say we'll just stick with drawing here. This is paper, really weird looking paper. But the kid comes along because this is an eager want of the kid. This is not what the parents want. The kid comes over and grabs and comes in and wants to take part in the drawings. But the parents simply say, you have to go to school to learn how to draw. The kid is like, oh, okay. So, next thing the mommy and daddy do is face painting. Kid comes, that's an eager want of the kid. The kid loves to do that. But you have to go to school to learn how to do that. Oh, okay. Next thing you know, the kid is just boosting from excitement. Like booming of it. I don't know the best adjective for it. Best verb, I mean. But yeah, the kid is very excited to go to school the next day. Now this was because they dangled. So if you think of a pond and there's fish, and you have a fishing stick. Let's just say you like cookies. If you dangle a cookie, the fish probably won't. You won't probably catch the fish. You won't catch it because it doesn't like cookies. You're the one who likes it. So you think that by dangling what you like in front of the other person, they're going to go ahead and catch ahead. No. We're so absorbed in ourselves that we simply don't do that. But instead, the guy decides to dangle some worms. Does the guy like worms? Absolutely not. He is a human being. It's a really weird drawing. I apologize. But the fish is all of a sudden drawn to it. We need to start making an effort of finding that desire and finding that eager want within people. Because if we're so caught up in ourselves, we won't achieve anything socially. We have to start asking about them. Hey, how was your day? What do you like? And then start talking about their interests. Being genuinely interested in other people. That has a totally another principle which I'll probably talk about in another video. But this links with the third principle here of eager wants. And there's a great quote from the book about this. This is it. This is the quote. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who doesn't walks a lonely way. I think that's straightforward. We have to start thinking about the other person's perspective. And if we're trying to make a deal with someone, we have to start thinking about from their perspective and their eager wants. How does my offer sound? Does my offer sound still like a good offer? Or does it sound manipulative? Does it sound selfish? Does it sound self-centered, narcissistic? And if you practice those three, if you practice those three simple principles, fundamentals, which is a good word for it, I kid you not, your social life will improve. It'll improve slightly because there's 27 other principles. But there will be improvement, yes, if you practice. Because there's no good reading it. So you should take notes, revise. Yes, revise. I spelt that wrong, which is funny. But revise your notes, read the book, and practice. Do those three things and yes, you're going to achieve what the video title is. You will improve your social life. And that's all I gotta say.